The drama surrounding the Las Vegas Raiders has reached a crossroads. And for once, the script is not written in smoke and mirrors. Instead, it has been carved into the fabric of their season by 3 games that tell 3 very different stories. Week 1 was everything Raider Nation wanted it to be: thrilling, energetic. It's a victory that seemed to signal this team was finally on the right path. Week 2, however, opened cracks in the armor. Mistakes, sloppiness, and questions about execution painted a concerning picture. By week 3, the optimism had curdled into frustration. It wasn't just a loss, it was a collapse, a brutal unraveling that left fans wondering if all of their worst fears about inconsistency were about to come true. And now here we stand at week 4. Facing the Chicago Bears, and the Raiders have stumbled into what feels like a do-or-die situation. Yes, the season is long. Yes, mathematically, there are 13 games still left after this one. But anyone who has followed this franchise knows that the NFL doesn't always wait for math. Momentum and mentality matter just as much as numbers, and the Raiders cannot afford to spiral again. They cannot allow the ghosts of weeks 2 and 3 to become the identity of their season. This is the turning point, and the Bears game is not just another Sunday. It is the line between a team that fights to redefine itself and a team that quietly accepts another year of mediocrity. But here's the thing. Not everything has been broken. Amid the losses, the errors, and the questions, there are bright spots. There are flashes of what this team can be when it plays to its strengths. And that is where the formula lies. The winning blueprint isn't hidden, it isn't complicated, and it isn't out of reach. It's right there in front of them. Keep doing what works. Stop repeating the self-inflicted mistakes. And lean on the players who have already proven they can deliver. That's the Raiders' path forward. That's their chance not only to survive, but to find a way to thrive against a dangerous Bears team that is more than capable of handing them another devastating loss. For starters, look at the way Geno Smith has operated when he's had time. Protection has been shaky, the offensive line has struggled. But on the snaps where Geno has been given just enough space to breathe, the difference has been undeniable. His ability to spread the ball, to find multiple targets and keep defenses guessing, has been one of the clearest bright spots of this offense. And that's not by accident. The Raiders spent the offseason giving him more weapons. And even with injuries thinning out the depth chart, the payoff is visible. Nowhere is that payoff more explosive than Trey Tucker. Last week was not just a good game, it was a breakout, a revelation. Reminder of what happens when talent finally collides with opportunity. 8 catches, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's not just production, that's a star performance. For years, previous regimes couldn't quite figure out how to unlock Tucker, how to let his speed and raw playmaking ability change games. But in this system, with Geno finding him, Tucker looks transformed. And that's exactly what the Raiders must double down on. Against a Bears secondary missing Jalen Johnson, Tucker can tilt the field again. His speed stretches defenses. His chemistry with Geno opens lanes for others. And his presence alone forces Chicago to make choices it doesn't want to make. If the Raiders want a formula, Tucker is a pillar of it. Then there's Jacoby Myers. While Tucker was stealing headlines, Myers was doing what he always does, providing consistency. Week after week, 60 to 97 yards, moving the chains, showing up on third down, being the quiet backbone of this passing attack. He may not always have the fireworks of Tucker, but in games like this, with Tyreek Stevenson likely lined up against him as Chicago's best available corner, Myers' steadiness is gold. In a do-or-die game, when drives can't stall and mistakes can't compound, having a receiver who delivers exactly what you need when you need it is priceless. Myers doesn't just make catches, he keeps the Raiders alive. But of course, no matter how many bright spots you circle, everything begins at the line of scrimmage. And here lies one of the season's greatest frustrations. The offensive line hasn't been good enough. Geno has faced too much pressure. The run game has been inconsistent. Fans have felt the weight of those struggles every single week. Yet there is a glimmer of hope. Jackson Powers-Johnson is back. After clearing concussion protocol, The rookie is ready to reclaim his spot and bring some badly needed stability inside. His presence doesn't just help Geno, it reopens the door for the run game. And that is where opportunity knocks the loudest. Because Chicago's run defense has been one of the softest in the league, giving up nearly 140 yards per game on the ground. This is the vulnerability the Raiders must attack. And with Powers Johnson anchoring the interior, Ashton Ginty has a chance to deliver a statement performance. Ginty himself has already shown flashes. But what stands out even more than his carries is his mentality. Criticism has come from outside voices. Doubters have questioned whether he's ready for the workload, but Ginty has shrugged it all off. He's made it clear he doesn't care about the noise, only about what lies in front of him. That's the mindset this entire team needs to adopt. Block out the negativity, block out the panic, and focus only on execution. Ginty has embraced it, and now it's time for the Raiders to follow his example. And then there's Brock Bowers. Even limited, even with that knee brace reminding everyone he's not yet fully himself, he remains too talented to ignore. 4 catches for 38 yards may not jump off the page, but defenses still treat him like the weapon he is. They respect him, they game plan for him, and in doing so, they open space elsewhere. Against a Bears defense featuring Kevin Byard and Yaquan Brisker, this is a difficult matchup. But involvement is the key. Feed Bowers early, force Chicago to account for him, and the ripple effect will shape the game. He doesn't need to be 100% to change the way defenses line up. He just needs the ball. On the other side of the ball, the formula is just as clear. Max Crosby remains the heartbeat of this team. His relentless energy, his ability to disrupt, his presence on the field, it's impossible to quantify in statistics alone, but even the numbers are impressive. Winning over 22% of his pass rush reps, he's a nightmare for offensive linemen. And now he faces Braxton Jones, a tackle who has already allowed 13 pressures and 2 sacks. That's not just a favorable matchup, it's a potential game changer. Crosby doesn't just rush the passer, he dictates the rhythm of an entire game. Against a rookie quarterback like Caleb Williams, Crosby's pressure could tilt the contest in one play. Inside, Adam Butler has been the steady anchor. His breakout last season wasn't a fluke, and he's carried that form straight into this year. Consistent, disruptive, reliable Butler has become the standard bearer for the Raiders' interior. And he'll need to be at his best against Chicago's rebuilt line featuring Dolman and Jackson. Having a force like Butler inside makes life easier for the rest of the front. From Booker to Coons, players who have struggled at times but can feed off the tone Butler sets. On defense, the formula isn't complicated. Crosby brings the chaos. Butler brings the consistency. And together, they give the Raiders a foundation to build around. Even special teams, despite a rough outing last week, remain part of the formula. Yes, the coverage units gave up 2 huge returns that cost dearly. But step back and look at the bigger picture. A.J. Cole and Daniel Carlson are Pro Bowl caliber players. Tom McMahon is a respected coordinator who has delivered year after year. One bad game doesn't erase all of that. In fact, it sets the stage for a bounce back, for a return to the standard they've set. Leadership matters, and when Cole says, "Don't let one bad game snowball into 2, it's exactly the kind of accountability this unit and this entire team needs to embrace. Mindset. That's the unspoken piece of the formula. Ginty said he doesn't care about criticism, and that focus, that mental toughness, is contagious. If more players block out the noise, if more of them tune out the negativity and simply perform, this team will be stronger for it. In a do-or-die week, execution and mentality go hand in hand. And in this case, the Raiders need both. Now, perspective. This opponent is not a pushover. The Bears may be rebuilding, but they've already shown flashes of firepower. They beat Dallas 31-4, a statement win that sent a ripple across the league. Caleb Williams, the rookie quarterback, anointed as the face of Chicago's future, has already shown why he was the top pick. Rome Odunze, his favorite target, is blossoming into a star with 16 catches, 227 yards, and 4 touchdowns. This offense is dangerous. Underestimating them would be a fatal mistake. But here's the truth. You don't beat a team like this by reinventing yourself in 1 week. You don't scramble for a brand new identity and hope it sticks. You beat them by leaning into your strengths, to the bright spots you've already shown, and into the formula that has been hiding in plain sight. That is what the Raiders must do. Trey Tucker's explosiveness. Jacoby Meyer's consistency. Brock Bowers' involvement. Jackson Powers-Johnson's stability. Ashton Ginty's mindset. Max Crosby's disruption. Adam Butler's steadiness. The leadership of Cole and Carlson. That's the formula. That's the blueprint. It's not flashy.